Just a nice average suburban street, you know, where probably Christmas carolers go from door to door, and meth causes you to dismember your boyfriend. So let's see. Flaming Pentagram, Jeffrey Dahmer, KKK. But she's got a nice personality.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Well, who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers with our content genius, Michael Rivers, right behind the camera. Today we are reacting to some more Schabusiness, because this is not my business. This is Schabusiness. Now, if you remember, we did a reaction to the opening statements in her case. This is a woman who found it fit to dismember her boyfriend's body, but before she did that, she did all kinds of weird to it. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by contractscounsel.com. If you are a lawyer and you are looking to do a little work from home, you go to contractscounsel.com and help some good people out. Contractscounsel.com is a way for people to get agreements written that they can't do themselves. And we have a lot of clients, but we need lawyers. So if you're a lawyer, go to contractscounsel.com. You can get some work done from home and make a little money and make some people happy. So contractscounsel.com. So let's get into this. This is probably a very short trial because I think the facts were really largely not in dispute. And when you get a client that is this deranged, they're very difficult to manage. I'm shocked that she didn't have to change counsel more than once. If you remember, we did a little reaction where she reached out and touched her counsel. So let's talk about let's watch what happens in trial. I think this is the body cam footage.
I guess where in the basement was that located?
As you go down the stairs, if you turn to the immediate right, it was at the bottom of the stairs to the right.
Was it in pretty close proximity to the stairs?
Yes.
After you made that observation, what did you do?
After I pulled the towel off?
Yes.
Now, if you remember, he's walking down this is a cop when he's walking down the stairs, and in it there's a bucket at the bottom of the stairs, and he pulls the towel off, and inside the bucket is the head of her boyfriend. And this is his mother's home. They got notified, or the law enforcement got notified, because the parents were the first ones to discover the dismembered son.
Officer Plunky come downstairs and just verify we had in fact found a human head in the bucket, and then we started to notify a supervisor and then ask for additional units.
At that time, on February 23rd, 2022, did your department utilize body-worn cameras?
Yes.
Is that something that was operating on that day?
There used to be some controversy about body-worn cameras, that it was intrusive, that it was overlooking. It helps both sides. It helps the cops protect themselves, and it helps defendants against crooked cops, because if it's going to catch anything. But in this instant, it grabs the shock and awe of what really they experienced on that particular day, which I don't know how you could just unsee that shit. I just don't know how you could.
And did you have the chance to review your body-worn camera prior to your testimony today?
Yes, I did.
If you were able to observe that here in court, would you be able to recognize it?
Yes, I'll be able to.
Okay.
So this is Wisconsin in the wintertime. Just a nice average suburban street, where probably Christmas carolers go from door to door, and meth causes you to dismember your boyfriend. Although I should say, meth didn't cause her to do this. Very rarely do I see anything. In fact, I've never seen anything this bad in my career. But I don't see people on meth generally doing stuff like this. Now, keep in mind, they walk in there. The mother has just discovered her dead son. Imagine. I mean, it's one thing to have somebody pass away, like if by an overdose or something like that. It's quite a different story to find body parts of your son here and there and everywhere and blood all over the place.
Okay. Did you both see this?
I opened the towel, I picked up the towel and dropped it because I don't know what the fuck it is, man. I have bad vision, and she's like, is that what I think it is? I'm like, I don't fucking know what the fuck it is.
Do you want to stay with those two? I was going to see it.
Where's
it at?
Go right there.
This
Look right, there's a bucket
with
with a towel on it.
Just keep my eyes.
Now, they turned away for obvious reasons.
Dude, it is.
What an absolute grim discovery.
Come here. Hold on 1 second.
It's sort of like an accident on the side of the road. You can't look away. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
Let's just. Okay. Hold on. Just. That's real, right? That's real love.
My God. And I'm smiling and just out of shock, honestly. It really takes a deranged individual to do something like this. And you would think by the nature of it itself that you would be talking about mental illness and a mental illness defense. And that's what they tried here in this trial.
4 Ed 1 to 82 Sam. I know you're busy over there, but this is actually what it's going to be. It's not going to be a 961 thing or a 96 thing, so we're going to need more units here.
See, there's the bucket right there in the corner, that black bucket. You see that right in the corner? We'll make it a little bit bigger for you. That is what we're talking about. That's where the head is. They don't know what to think. You know, they're in shock just like you and I are. They've never seen anything like that in their career, I guarantee it.
If there's anybody supposed to be there. Was that Fred 1? No for right now.
And she seems relatively unfazed. Look at that face. Honestly, look at that face. And picture that face doing something. If you remember, she choked him first. You know, and they were going to choke each other and have this sexual choking thing. And all of a sudden, she really started liking choking him. So much so that she wouldn't stop. And then he wouldn't die right away. And then she choked him some more and some more and some more. And finally choked the life out of him. And then if that wasn't bad enough, she did all these unspeakable things to him. She sucked his penis while shoving a dildo up his ass and in his mouth. I mean, she was really off the deep end.
If we could get more units here sooner rather than later, that'd be appreciated.
Because I'm about ready to throw up. Oh.
We've got quite a bit of blood down here. I want to clear this rest of this house.
And if you remember on the bed, she had his head hanging off, and she cut his head off, put it in the bucket, and then drained his blood into the bucket, brought it back to the shower. Ugh.
We've got
This cop is truly shaken,
house for sure.
and anybody would be. And the first thing, as a matter of course, what you do is you get a forensic team, or the crime processing team, the criminologist, to come in and secure the area and take all kinds of pictures and samples everywhere they can. And see, there's the shower that she drained the blood into. And think about it from the cop's perspective, in a sense. Think about a cop's job. Going into people's homes, addressing violent situations, addressing medical situations, addressing stressful. Cops never come to your house when you're doing well. And imagine seeing this as a cop. Cops are people too, and they take this shit home with them. Yeah, see, he's stressing out, as anybody would be. This is the kind of shit that would make a cop go see a psychologist. So now, it'd be one thing if she flipped out that particular day, right? But no, it sounds a little more sinister than that. Wait till you listen to this.
You subsequently have a further role with respect to this investigation.
I did.
And what was that?
I looked through one of the cell phones that was located at the Eastman Avenue address.
Remember, I always say that you have a digital footprint, and that digital footprint can tell a story. And it can be a positive story, or it can be a negative story. In this case, any kind of mental health defense could be negated by what they find on her phone.
I believe that belonged to Taylor Schabusiness.
And when you say you look
Taylor what? Taylor Schabusiness.
through the cell phone, did you look through the device itself?
I did not.
What did you review?
Our computer forensics person who was in here just before me downloaded the phone to what's called the UDRF file, and then we're able to view the contents of the phone that way.
And is using that type of, what they call it, a UFED report, is that something that you review regularly in the course of your duties as a detective with the Green Bay Police Department?
Almost every day.
So you're familiar with reviewing those reports and then locating the information that might be of interest in an investigation?
Yes.
And is that what you were asked to do with respect to a phone that was believed to belong to Taylor Schabusiness?
Yes.
What sorts of things were you looking for when you reviewed the extraction of that device using the computer forensic program?
I was looking for search history on the internet. I was looking for photographs. I was looking for phone calls, text messages, messaging application chats, things of that nature.
Did you notice anything of evidentiary value?
There was some search history that I found interesting, like internet searches that I found interesting, yes.
And what was that?
There was searches, things of like...
Your Honor, I'm going to object. We're
I'm going to object because what she's about to say is going to really fucking hurt my case.
See, I mean, searches on the phone, people search, research, look at all kinds of different things. I would argue that
So when you object, you're supposed to just one word. You're not supposed to have speaking objections like this because you're not supposed to argue what you're doing in front of the jury. And so generally speaking, you say objection, relevance, objection, and then this should have brought it. And there's another thing you do. It's called a motion in limine. So you know this is coming up in trial, and unless he's just making a record and there's been a prior ruling, he should have brought this up in a motion in limine. So you argue this, that's more prejudicial than probative. But listen to what he's going to say.
that some of these things, I believe, could be inflammatory and more prejudicial than probative.
Overrule the objection. You can go ahead and answer the question.
I'm going to overrule the objection. Let's hear it.
Things such as flaming pentagram, Jeffrey Dahmer,
Ooh, Jeffrey Dahmer. Seems similar, doesn't it?
things like that. KKK, I believe, is one of them.
See, why would you wait? This is something that should have been brought up. KKK, what does that have anything to do with this case? It's got nothing to do with this case. The Dahmer part?
Detective, did you note the dates and times of the respective searches that you believed were relevant?
It was around the time of the homicide.
In the days shortly before?
In the days shortly before, yes.
So let's see. Flaming pentagram, Jeffrey Dahmer, KKK. But she's got a nice personality.
And do you recall when you reviewed that, did you prepare a report regarding your observations?
I did.
If you were able to review your report, might that refresh your recollection as to the specific searches and the dates and times of those searches?
It would.
What a catch. Just an absolute catch. Me if you can.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to Exhibit 98. I know it's Detective Liberta's details. It's 2 pages. But there are dates going back to December 12th of 2022, and we're talking about an alleged incident on 2/22 or 2/23 of 2022. So I've got an issue with that. I'm also going to reserve a motion outside the presence of the jury.
He should have brought that up way before now. So here's what this is what the prosecutor's doing. This is what the defense lawyer just did. The prosecutor is just asking her if her memory would be better served if she could look at her report so she can give the dates and times of the searches. And the prosecutor knows, or the defense lawyer knows where she's going with it. And really, he's objecting to the document, but it's not been offered as in an evidence. So it's kind of a premature motion.
I'll turn back to the state. Go ahead, Mr. Lozay.
Your Honor, I want to say that another objection would be on grounds of relevancy. So,
Okay.
thank you.
I'm going to reserve the...
So you say objection, relevance. And if it's more complicated than that, you go up to the bench. And then they turn on the white noise so the jury doesn't hear you.
2022, did you note anything, was there anything noteworthy with respect to searches?
Judge, relevancy to that question?
Overruled. Go ahead and answer if you can.
Overruled.
Yes, she searched Jeffrey Dahmer. And then she searched cadaver definition, Jeff Boyardee, blow-up doll customized face.
Blow-up doll customized face. Don't we all have one of those? Fuck. So, despite the fact that she dismembers people, does a lot of math, and is searching for Jeffrey Dahmer on the internet to try to emulate some of his behavior, she's not a bad gal, is she? No, of course not. Oh, this is just a unbelievably evil piece of work. Now, here's the thing. The defense is trying to paint the picture that this is She was out of her mind, that the mental health defense basically, or heat of passion, one of the two. And what it tells me is that if you are searching for things like Jeffrey Dahmer and, things about cadavers, you want to create your own cadaver. You want to do your own. And so it really is about premeditation. So what that does essentially, it paints that picture of what's in her mind. And she seems to have an obsession with Jeffrey Dahmer and probably dismembering people and, and some satanic shit. And so instead of this being just kind of a one-off, like, oh, I just lost my mind, in the moment, it's really more about, I've been thinking about this for a while and I finally executed my plan. So in my experience, when you have a client that has a case where like intent is an element, and all of a sudden you got these digital footprints of searches about how to get away with murder or best stabbing techniques for your wife, you have searches like that, and I've had cases with those searches in their search history. It doesn't help you at all as a defense lawyer. How in the heck? Honestly, what could have been going through her mind?
Feasible, buddy, feasible.
All right, see that box there? The crock pot? That's a crock pot box. That's where some additional body parts are. And, they're nicely preserved in the cool temperatures of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Here's the thing. She's not doing this with really any kind of hint of trying to get away with it, really. She got her rocks off doing what she did, and then she goes back to her own apartment, and she's got blood on her feet, in her shoes, and there's a trail leading right up to her door. Not exactly the mastermind of the crime of the century.
Hi. Hi, Taylor. How's it going? Officer Russell with the Green Bay Police Department. Just make sure you ain't got nothing on you here. With Taylor. Taylor, you have one more for your wrist. Just put your hands behind your back quick.
Now, she had blood all over her hands. So in their report, both officers said they saw blood on her pants, on her sweatshirt, and on her hands.
Taylor, you have one more for your wrist. Just put your hands behind your back quick. Anybody else in your apartment? You got blood on your hands here too. No, on your hands. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to. What apartment are you in? What apartment are you in? Do you have Adam 3 come up? He got some there, get up here. On the double. Which apartment? One is what they came back to. Go. That's Harvey, get here now.
So this is just hours after she cut the head off, cut the arms and legs off, and drained the blood of her boyfriend. And she's just back at home, like what? I don't know, doing laundry?
Watch this window right here. Gun. Go in here. Come to the back of the apartment. That's where we are. You come over here. 2 more will be fine. If 84 is here. Hands up! You have contact with the male. Hands up! Walk out towards me. Have a seat. Get out of the ground. Who else is in the apartment? Be straight up. Tomes? Who else? Just Tomes? Is he armed? Nobody's armed?
Nobody's armed.
You sure?
Look at her demeanor. Cold as fuck. See, they don't want to let her out of her sight for a couple reasons. One, I mean, you don't want to just put her in the car and leave her in the car because she could wipe her hands off. She could destroy any piece of evidence that they might be able to get from her, or at least try to. So we're not. That's a little bit too long to go into, but let's kind of go to the verdict now and see what happened, because they tried this case for better part of 4 or 5 days. So you get done trying your case, you give your closing argument, and you're kind of like, okay, my job's done for now. And then you got to be within 10 minutes or so of the courthouse, and then the clerk eventually will call you. And the jury deliberated for under an hour. I mean, there's really not much for them to decide. And here she is on the hook for life without parole after dismembering her boyfriend. And look at her. She's smiling. She's laughing. I mean, she knows she's going to get convicted. And you might wonder, God, why is she wearing such a nice outfit? Is she still in jail? Yeah, of course she's in jail. But when you have a trial and you're in custody, constitutionally, the jury, you have the right to not be viewed as a criminal. So you have the right at a jury trial to be in street clothes. This guy is like, I cannot wait for this to be over. I want this to be over. Please make it be over. I don't want to sit next to her any more than I already have. And I doubt that she's got a whole lot of support back there. But these moments just before the verdict comes in are just, it just seems like they go on and on forever. And your hands get sweaty, your heart is pounding. And God love this public defender or private lawyer. I think he's public defender is my guess. He wants to go home and take a shower and be done with this case. It absolutely sucks when you're trying a case and you have no defense.
Okay, be seated. You are the foreperson, is that correct? Yeah. If you could hand your verdict to the bailiff.
Less than an hour.
Okay. The verdict seems to be in order, and I will read it as follows. Question 1. At the time the crimes were committed, did the defendant have a mental disease or mental defect? Answer, no.
No. So they're saying that the mental illness or disease did not cause this crime. So that takes the mental health of it completely away.
There's no answer then for question 2. It is dated this date, July 27, 2023, signed by the foreperson. There were no dissenting jurors. Is there a request by either of the parties to have the jury polled? Mr. Saunders?
No.
Mr. Freilich?
Yes.
All right. We did this the last time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to poll you again. I'm going to start in the back. Ma'am, are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Ma'am, are these your verdicts?
So that the polling of the verdict, and everybody just says that that's their verdict, but that's one of the things, one of the safeguards, in case there's somebody that's a holdout that says that's not my verdict. Almost, I don't want to say never happens. I've never happened to me in 25 years, but it's supposed to theoretically it could happen. So she is 100% responsible for this case. They tried it solely on the mental health aspect of it, and what really destroyed their case more than anything else, the defense's case that is, probably those search histories. And she's not diagnosed with anything. I don't know how much of a defense they put up with psychologists, but clearly the jury wasn't buying what they were selling. So she's going to spend the rest of her natural life behind bars without the possibility of parole, as well she should. So this has been our little effort to get all up in Schabusiness. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. And keep in mind, I am going on my long journey starting tomorrow. And so I'll be on the road to Alaska, and so I'll be filming from the road. So we'll still be putting out content that has to do with the issues of the day. If Melly's trial starts up again, we'll be covering it. Donald Trump, oh my God, all the crap that he's into, we'll be covering that. And then, but I'll also be blogging my trip, and so, or vlogging it, whatever the term is. And so you'll see me on the road. I'll have a camera on my bike, camera on my helmet, and then at the end of the day, back at the hotel, we'll film some episodes, and hope you guys stay tuned. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and by all means, if you're a lawyer, go to contractscouncil.com and get some work. See you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please just at my God.